order in which X11 was made available on the machine, that it actually had to be there and in the dock before she could start the program.
Interesting. Well, you've been using it on OS X10, right? Haven't you, Herbert?
Yes, it's been an interesting experience, but yes, I have.
What obstacles have you encountered?
Yosemite's unstable.
Ah, okay.
I do not recommend upgrading to it yet. They're getting slowly better.
All right.
But every once in a while, it sort of forgets things.
Okay.
Loses its mind.
Well, maybe we already have artificial intelligence.
I would not quite say intelligence. It's an artificial stupidity, I think.
Okay. Good.
It's interesting. It's challenging. But I figured I needed to learn what was going to happen under 10.10, and I'm finding out. It means I will not recommend it to any student.
Okay. Hi, Colette.
Hi, Paul. How are you guys?
Good, thanks.
I'll mute my mic so I don't create echoes.
Okay.
How's the grandson, Paul?
It was perfectly wonderful. It's just amazing. It was amazing when my kids were born. It was amazing to see a grandson born. It's just a wonderful thing.
Well, congratulations again. I'm going to mute now.
Okay, well, thanks, Colette, and thanks for sharing the picture of your daughter's wedding. I've talked about my grandson enough. I guess I should put up a picture.
Yeah, we want to see that.
Yeah, I'll have to share an image of the little guy.
Yeah.
Okay, Anya
Hair
asked.
looks like yours.
What's that?
Yeah, but his hair looks like yours.
No, it actually looks much better. He has a lot more. Okay, Anya, I didn't hear your voice. Please try speaking again.
Sent a message saying, I am hoping to get my mic working.
Right, I see that. I see that. Yeah. All right, there's Bob Stewart. Hi, Bob. Welcome. At this point, why don't we go ahead and get started? I'm feeling a bit subdued today. I've been helping one of my colleagues editing a textbook he's writing, a new biochemistry textbook, and the editor I've been working with just suddenly passed away on Sunday, and it's just kind of sobering to think about that. I guess we all know that our time will come, but his time came on Sunday. So that has put me in a bit of a mellow mood, or a melancholy, I think is the right word, melancholy. But let's press forward with this. Colette, let's start off talking about installing Pymol and Promol. Where do things stand with you now?
This morning Monday I got it installed on my office computer, and so I quick ran down to the classroom computers to install it there, and after 2 hours I got it on one of them. And I had a computer science student helping me who turns out to be a very sweet person but useless. And so this morning when I met him in the lab and we tried to get 3 more computers done, I got them all done.
Okay.
And he broke one of the computers. He broke Python. He's our campus Python expert, and he broke Python.
Oh dear.
Yeah. But I took really good notes on how to install it, so I'm gonna try and get all my students to put it on their laptops, which I know I can do now with Macs, but I don't know about PCs.
Okay, Rebecca's trying to get in.
Do you have a significant Windows PC presence on your campus?
As in, as in someone in our IT department who can help my students? Yes, I think so. I can't.
Do you have standards that your school imposes on Windows?
What do you know about that, Sarah?
I
I don't know what you
don't know
mean,
if
Herb.
we have standards imposed on Windows.
You mean, I don't know what you mean.
Are you Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10? You're what?
I think it's up to this. I think it's whatever the students have, and of course they don't update when the updates come through. The student who's sitting with me right now says that she's at Windows 8. I'm only vaguely aware that there's something called 10.
Okay, I just ordered myself a new Windows 8.1 machine.
Yeah.
So I hopefully will be in a position to provide some external experience with that. But usually each campus has its own set of rules as to what you are and aren't allowed to do with Windows.
Yeah, at RIT, I think we're on Windows 7. We're never going to Windows 8, and we might go to Windows 10 or something like that.
Why is this? Explain this to me.
I don't know.
It is very labor intensive to support Windows.
Huh.
It is a constantly moving target.
Yeah.
And anything you do under, say, Windows 7 doesn't transplant easily to 8, nor what you do under 8 transplants easily to 7.
Hmm.
So you can serve scarce resources by saying, we will only support, and then you pick one.
I see.
And then you fight your way through the changes that keep occurring in that one.
And this isn't true for Macs, because when I started this, the problem was that almost all of our Macs were still on Snow Leopard or something, and so it took me a long time to get Yosemite on them.
For years, it was much easier to support a Mac than Windows machines, but I assure you, with Yosemite, it's just as hard.
Well, I'm having success with Yosemite now, so I'm hoping they hold off on El Capitan.
There's another one?
Yeah, El Capitan is right around the corner.
Hi, everybody. It's Rebecca. Finally managed to get in.
Hi, Rebecca. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Okay, so it sounds like you've got things installed now, Colette.
Yes.
We have the install working at RIT. Anybody else having install problems?
This is Rebecca. I have been in complete vacation mode for 3 weeks, which means I've also not listened to any of the last 3 meetings.
Okay.
But I sit quietly and try to catch myself up here. So when you talk about an install, I don't even know what you're saying.
I'm just talking about making sure that we have PyMol and ProMol installed on the computers. Likewise, PyRX and AutoDoc, those things. And in fact, we have 2 different computer support people in the College of Science at RIT. One does research and faculty desktops, and the other one does student labs. And so the student lab person has all the stuff installed, and I need to go down and test it sometime tomorrow or the next day. So hopefully I'll have some time to do that.
Okay, and again, I apologize that I'm behind the times here. I'll get myself caught up.
Don't apologize for taking a vacation. It's good for your soul.
It was, thanks.
Good. Where'd you go?
I grew up on Cape Cod, so I visited family and ate way too much seafood and swam and swam and swam.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. Okay, the next thing, Bob, you had a question about uploading videos.
Yes. So how do we create a video? How do we get it into your links folder? You have recording links.
Right. I think if you have the video, I'm going to go to that folder right now. Oh, come on. Take me there. If you have the video in an MP4 format, you can just drag it into the window and it should upload. Are you in a Windows or a Mac?
On Windows.
Okay. I'm on a Mac, so I'm not sure how it works. But whenever I want to put something in that folder, if I have the file on my computer, I can just drag it into that that
Okay.
folder and go
Well, I
there.
haven't rendered and everything. It's on YouTube.
Okay. So if you want to send me the YouTube link, then I'll download it and put it on our YouTube channel.
Is that okay? Okay.
That'd be great.
All right. I'll do that then.
That'd be great. Let me see if it knows who I am here. It does.
All
Okay.
right.
Oh, Colette, I wondered if you actually viewed the video on inserting figures in the Google Doc.
I saw it and I didn't go back and try it.
Well, you
What was the document? I had done a document on. Oh, was it bacterial growth and overexpression? And I wanted to put my figures about the pet vector system into it. And I confess I didn't go back and try and do it once you uploaded the instructions.
Well, I put a special picture in there that I thought you would really enjoy.
Is that why the picture of your grandson is?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay. I will go look. I can do it now. We trade places with Lucille. And my mouse. Still haven't gotten the people who are trying to get in.
Suzanne. Hi, Suzanne. Welcome. Suzanne, if you could turn off your camera, just to conserve bandwidth. Thank you. I thought you'd like it.
I'm having trouble. You know how I am with Google Docs. I'm having trouble finding the document. And Mike taught me to just do a search, but that isn't working for me either. What's it called, Paul?
Or protein expression. So have the doc.
Protein expression?
No. It's called inserting figures in a Google Doc. I just put the link on the chat. Here, I'll
I see that. No, I don't see that. That's a YouTube video.
Yeah, it is a YouTube video.
Oh, all right.
We're going to look at inserting figures in a Google Doc. This is one of our documents growth would be called.
Looking for a picture. Okay. So drag the image here, I'm sure. No.
It's a 38-second point, and it's a 50-second video. It's a 38-second point.
Oh my gosh, Paul, you look dangerous.
That was after I came back from sabbatical. This was back in 2003, and I was. Maybe I could show the picture to others.
Oh my gosh.
And I decided not to cut my hair or my beard and see how long they would get. And I finally cut my beard when it started getting caught in the zipper of my winter coat, and that is extremely. Anya, I can see you now.
How about voice?
I got your voice now.
All right. Got something going. Thank you.
Okay. So in terms of inserting any videos, probably the simplest thing to do is if you create a video, either email the video to me or just post it on YouTube and send me the link. I'll download it and put it on the protein characterization channel, and then everybody can share it. I think at this point it's safe to say that I know I'm coming back from vacation. I think we've all come back from some time away, either at vacations or conferences. And I have the best of intentions to, not just the best of intentions, a commitment to complete the one worksheet or lab exercise on creating and testing a motif template in Promol, and I will have that by next week. Where are other people in terms of working on things? I think I need to do a project manager thing where I actually go in here and look at the list of who's going to do what. Okay, Ashley and Jeff are not here. They were going to do something with the introduction to the protein data bank, but I believe I saw something from them. Under in silico protocols, Ashley wrote something, okay, Bob, there's one on transformation that I think you were going to work on with Julia. Is that right?
I think so. I've been working more on the kinetics assay part, so I need to get with her on what's going on with transformation.
No, it was me. I did the transformation one, and I redid it so that it only addressed how you would transform bacteria when you're about to grow the protein.
Okay.
And so it should be in the form that we talked about. We wanted, so it ignores the isolation of DNA, only caring about protein.
Okay, and this is in the transformation folder now?
I thought so.
Yep, introduction. Yeah, I can see a version of the document that was last modified on August 4th.
That sounds good, yeah.
Okay, so Anya, that's a document. I'll post the link. Here's a document where you can go in and look at adding some learning objectives.
Are we in a Dropbox, right? The joint Dropbox folder?
The link I just sent is in our Google Drive, not in a Dropbox.
Oh, okay.
And why don't you click on that link and see if you can actually see the file.
I will. I'm just trying to figure out technology things.
Okay.
I will try to get there. So don't wait for me. I'll let you know if at the end I can't get there. I had to restart my computer.
Okay. Actually, the link I posted was for the folder. I just posted a link for the file itself.
Oh, yeah, I'm using my phone for the Google chat, and I'm trying to figure out in my computer where stuff is.
Okay. Okay. And I got a note here from Suzanne saying that she's proctoring an exam so she can listen but can't, and she can speak by typing but won't speak verbally. That makes good sense. Suzanne is proctoring an exam for our master students, the biochem exam for our entering master students. Okay, and Bob, I see that you sent me a video.
Okay, so that worked? Okay.
Just a minute. How did you send me the video? Did you send it by email? The link by email?
Well, from YouTube, it has a share, and then I shared Google Drive, or I shared to you.
All right.
I think I used your email address.
All right. Let me see what it. Okay, well, RIT's email is quite slow. I'll let you know when something pops up.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay. Now Suzanne, I've got a question for you. I was able, I checked on the plasmids that we ordered from the DNA SU. I believe there were 5 or 6 of them. They are in a freezer, in the -80 freezer in 3167 in Leah's lab. So you should be able to get access to those now. Can you get into that lab, or do you need me to let you in? Okay. Um, when will we be done proctoring the exam? 4 p.m. Okay, I've got meetings at 4 and again at 4:30, or earlier. Right. Okay. I see, Bob, that you ordered your plasmid. Okay, good. Um, and the protocol you wrote, Colette, this enables us to take a plasmid that we ordered from DNASU and insert it into chemically competent cells.
Correct.
Okay, great. And Bob, do you have a competent cell line to work with, or do you need to order some?
I think I can get some from our microbiology people. Yes, I'm pretty sure we have that here.
Okay, now will that? I don't fully understand the distinction here, but I think a competent cell line can either be for high protein expression or for storage of a plasmid.
Okay.
So I think you'll need to identify one that's good for high levels of protein expression. Is there a particular one that you use, Colette?
Yeah, we have to use BL21DE
BL21D?
for expression. BL21DE, I think you buy that from, you used to buy it from Novogen, but they've been bought first by EMD. I think it might be Life Technologies now.
Okay.
But pet vectors won't work in anything else because they have to have the DE3 lysogen inserted into them.
Right. Right. Okay.
And then you'd want a different strain for storage of the plasmid.
Right.
Different strains are good for DNA than for protein.
Right. And the strain, I think the strain Suzanne's recommending a DH5 alpha as a storage, but the expression plasmid. So.
Well, we use XL1, either XL1 blue or XL10 gold. There's a reason we don't use DH5 alpha, and I can't remember what it is.
Okay.
But all the XLs, there's a whole bunch of them. Stratagene has gone the distance in naming their strains. All of the XL somethings from Stratagene are good.
Okay. So, Bob, why don't you check with your people at ORU to see what cell lines are available. See if they have like one of the XL cell lines and then one of the BL21 cell lines.
All right. Yep. Thank you. Yep.
And it sounds to me like you're about as comfortable with that kind of thing as I am. So I would encourage you to lean heavily on our colleagues on Colette and Suzanne, who have much more experience with this stuff.
And I can send stocks on dry ice, no problem.
Okay.
Okay. Good.
Okay. Good.
So we had talked about protein expression protocols.
Right.
We had long ago, back in June or July, we had talked about Mike writing those because he knew how to use the technique where you don't have to induce. The bugs all of a sudden run out of glucose, and so they start using the lactose.
Right. And where is?
And so he was going to write that, and it looks like he did on August 7th.
Oh,
But the last time we met, he'd forgotten that he had written that, I think. I don't know, because I wrote one on August 5th. So now in the Google Docs, we have 2 documents. I can only, yeah, I think we have to decide which one we're going to use. His will be cheaper if it doesn't rely on IPTG. But I'm going to use the one that I know and love.
well, it's the one that you're sure works, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay, and have you shared that into the protocol?
Yeah, it's not in the final protocols folder. It's in, oh man, I can't tell where it is. It's called growth of E. coli for foreign protein expression.
Okay, it's in the main folder. Okay, I'm going to move it into the protein expression folder.
Uh-huh.
You should all still be able to see it.
But there is one in the protocols folder written by Mike, and I suspect it's got that added feature of not needing to be induced by expensive deadlight animals.
How expensive is, I mean, the induction process? I mean, if we buy IPTG, if you buy, I have no idea, does it cost like $100 a gram or something?
No, it's actually gotten a lot cheaper. The company to buy it from is called goldbio.com.
Okay, is that in the protocol?
I don't think so. I can add it in there.
If you would, that'd be great. That'd be great. And, you know, because it sounds to me like the method that Mike is describing, one of the words that I learned in doing chromatography was finding a method that was rugged, which means you could mess it up a bit, maybe have the pH off by a little bit or something like that, and it would still work.
Yeah.
It sounds like the method he's describing is not rugged. If you do it right, it works perfect every time, but we don't want to spend a semester having our students learn how to do it right. And it sounds like the method you're describing here, Colette, is rugged.
Especially with what Jeff says about how the proteins in table 1 seem to all express well and be soluble. We shouldn't run into any trouble if we just use the regular standard protocol.
Right. All right. So I would say let's use your the growth of E. coli expressing foreign DNA via pet vectors.
Yes.
That's the title on the top of it. The title for the document is growth of E. coli for foreign protein expression.
Yes.
So Anya, here is.
It's just missing a good picture. It has the Unabomber on it right now.
All right, now Suzanne is sending some comments here. So she's right. So Suzanne, Suzanne is saying, email me if you have any questions. And Suzanne has tried the auto-induce in the research lab and had terrible luck with it. So we're going to go for the induce with IPTG.
Good.
Right. She says she gets her IPTG from Research Organics. It doesn't matter. Okay. Okay, so it seems like we have the ability, now that we're getting the plasmids, the ability to insert the plasmids into a strain and to grow them up and express them. So Suzanne and Jeff are going to try that. Our biochem course for the fall has 12 students enrolled in it. So I haven't talked with them whether they're planning to have 3 groups of 4 or 4 groups of 3 or 6 groups of 2. What exactly are you thinking, Suzanne? Have you made a decision about that yet? Not sure if Suzanne heard me. So the question, Suzanne, is how many students, or how many groups are you planning to have in the fall lab with 12 students? Are you going to have 3 groups or 4 groups or 6 groups? What are you thinking? 6 groups of 2 most of the time. Okay, great. Well, I think we ordered 6 plasmids, so that'll be good. You know what? There's a student, I want to let everybody know this name. It's Caitlin Hart.
Mentor.
She's going to be our TA here, and she's also going to be our kind of available expert for the lab protocols, because she's, you know, Herbert and I have written about, and Jeff have written about this, but Caitlin is really one that's done all of this stuff. I'm going to send her a note right now, and I'm going to copy the whole group in on it. So I just sent that off to Caitlin. So Caitlin Hart. So you'll all see that in your inbox. And that's our student. She's really terrific. So I'm looking forward to having her back on campus. Bob, I never did get that link. Can you just paste a link into this chat session?
Okay.
I'm looking again at the weekly lab timeline document. Rebecca, the protein assay document, is that all set to go?
I think it's probably pretty close. I was going to put some more figures in it, but I think it's relatively close.
Okay, well, why don't you go ahead and add some more figures. It's probably, is it in the finished draft protocols folder?
I believe it is, yes.
Okay, let me think how we decided to do this. We were going to put the drafts in there for Anya to pick up, and then to add the learning objective. Was that the protocol we decided, the approach we decided on?
I believe so.
All right. So if that's the case, then we have the transformation protocol should go in that folder. The one that we're going to use, the one that Colette wrote up. So I'll put it in the draft protocols folder. And that way, all the stuff that Anya needs to do will be in the right place. Okay, so that finished draft protocols for I just moved the transformation protocol you wrote, Colette, and the protein expression document that you wrote. So those ones are in place there. So we currently have 3 in that location. I'm going to fire another note off to Mike Pickard. I thought he was going to be here today. Oops, that's not it. Okay. Well, let me take a look and see if Mike has done some work on the protein purification stuff. He may have already. Does not look like it. There's some stuff from June and July in there. And Bob, you mentioned that you've been working on the enzyme kinetics. You have a video. Have you also written up a protocol for that yet?
Yeah, you should have a protocol there.
Okay, the initial enzyme activities doc?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
The burst phase kinetics part, you wanted a paragraph on that.
Yep.
It probably needs a little bit more work, but it's getting close, I think.
Okay, well, why don't you take another good look at it? Oh, it looks like you and Julia have been going back and forth on that.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so talk to Julia, and then good. And once you've agreed on a final form, try to let's get that into that finished draft protocols folder for next week. Okay?
Yep. All right. Yep.
And Julia's not here today. Any idea, Rebecca, where she is?
No, I don't. I haven't talked to her in a couple weeks.
All right. Well, I will send out an email later today to find out with reminders on the different protocols and so forth that are due, to try to get everybody to have some kind of a complete draft version of it into the finished draft protocols folder by next Tuesday. At this point, is Anya still here, or did she leave? Looks like she left. She said something about rebooting her computer, but she hasn't reconnected. Okay. Well, she has the link. She got in once with it. I'm thinking about next. Well, first of all,
Can I ask something quick, Paul?
please do.
Because I was in France the week that you talked about how to order plasmids from Arizona.
Right.
And I can't find that information anywhere in the documents or in my email. So can you remind us how to do that? I've got money now. I'd like to get those in hand.
Agreed. What I'm going to do is email everybody a copy of the purchase order that we've sent, and I think that has all the order information on it.
Is that the thing that's called ASU checklist?
I don't think so.
Because that document is scary. It's about I think it's about their intellectual property rules.
Yeah. I think to order this stuff, you're going to have to sign that thing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But let me get that.
Okay.
Okay, I just sent off copies of the PDFs that contain those. I'm going to share my screen. And
Oops.
okay, so can you see my screen with the plasmid, the purchase order?
We've got nested screens on my end, but your email, I see your purchase order.
Well, the nested screens are because I'm looking at the wrong window. Let me stop the screen share and start a different screen share. Okay. So this is how we order them.
Yes.
So there's the vendor. There's the Biodesign Institute, Arizona State University, and so forth. The information is there, and then I've actually sent you 2 documents. One of them contains 2 clones, and
One has 4 of them.
what's that now?
You've got 6 total, though, on these two pages.
Yeah, the first.
And these are the 6 that we're all going to use, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
So, and I think that those prices are correct. It's actually very reasonable.
Yeah.
And the only thing is, though, they will insist on signing that form, and there's actually 2 forms. One is the intellectual property form. Another one is doing repeated orders. And I would encourage you to sign both of them. The repeated order one just makes it easier. Otherwise, you have to sign that intellectual property form every time you place an order.
Okay. Thanks.
And to be honest, I didn't look at. Okay, Jeff is having 2 issues that keep him. He's driving and he's thinking the chat room is at its limit. We'll catch up with Suzanne and Caitlin later today. Okay. Okay, so hopefully that will enable folks to order the plasmid. We should also talk about ordering substrates. I'm going to keep screen sharing here. And so we just went to Sigma and ordered a bunch of substrates. Now, this was actually our second set. So we're looking for things that are a bit more exotic. So like a formate and a chloroformate, and who knows, quite honestly, if those will go in solution or if they'll just hydrolyze as soon as you put them in water. But we also had, let me find,
Is the first set in your paper, maybe?
it's not. I don't think we listed any substrates. But there are a couple that I would recommend getting. One is 4-nitroacid and I'll send these purchase orders around as well.
Excellent.
And my thinking is that, and there's, it's not there. Well, I know we've also ordered a paranitrophenyl acetate. So just a paranitrophenyl ester of acetic acid, which should be, most things that are serine hydrolases should be able to do something with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I will, in fact, I won't talk about it, I'll just do it.
There's got to be a way to just download this.
Now, I would encourage folks in the fall, when you're not running the course yet, to order a couple of these and to order the plasmids and to do the transformations and to try some things in the fall, on the side just to see if they're working, and then decide later, more specifically, what you want to look at. We're going to be doing a lot of docking this fall in the course, and in the process of doing all that docking, we may find some very interesting candidate structures we decide to go after. I have created quite a number of purchase orders for pyronitrophenyl esters. Some of them I've actually submitted, some I have not. There's going to be a lot of redundancy here, but you'll be able to see the different options that are there.
You should have gotten an organic synthetic chemist on this project, Paul.
Well, there's a group called the Enzyme Function Initiative.
Yeah.
And I heard one of their people talk at the ASB&B meeting, and in fact, she has a group that isolates enzymes, or isolates proteins from organisms, but then has an organic chemist who's creating libraries of compounds.
Who is that? I probably know her.
I'd have to find my notes and track it down, but it's one of the EFI people, or one of the people that's affiliated with it.
I'll ask Frank Rochelle.
Yeah, do that.
Let's see if he can get us some free stuff.
That'd be great. Now, and we're looking at the hydrolases. She was looking at a different family of compounds. I don't remember what they, but she had an organic chemist that was basically creating substrates, many of which I think they were chromogenic. Just nice libraries of hundreds or thousands of substrates. And I guess there's a high throughput method to generate these things if you're an organic chemist. I wouldn't know, but it seems that there is. Okay, Anya's back. I see a note here from Suzanne saying she'd like to order more substrates after the docking. I completely agree. I mean, the docking may tell us some very interesting things. And in fact, we had a student here at RIT this summer, two students that did a lot of work with docking, Mi Jin Jian and Kenny Barty. Kenny's probably our most expert user of PyRX at this point. And she finished her work this week, but is going to be sending me a report on what she did over the summer. And that may inform the directions we take with this stuff, too.
So Paul?
Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering, are we going to have to keep these proteins cold, keep everything on ice? Is that kind of the recommend, or work in a cold room or something? Or did we talk about that yet?
I'd keep everything on ice, but I wouldn't go stand in a cold room.
Yeah, me either. So okay. So that's kind of just a standard protocol, just keep stuff on ice until we find out how robust the proteins are.
Right.
Okay.
I think, as a general rule, we should always keep these things on ice. So my students, I know when they do the protein, once they've grown up the proteins or grown up the organism, and they fracture the cells, when they do the centrifugation, it's refrigerated. When they do the chromatography on the metal, the metal affinity column, they do that in a chromatography refrigerator or a cold room, a walk-in cold room. And likewise, when they do the desalting column to get rid of the imidazole, they do that in the refrigerator. And they always keep the protein solutions after that on ice.
It's our rule. Our very first rule is if it's got protein in it, keep it cold.
And
especially if you maybe are isolating proteases.
Right. Well, and the fact is that these may they may digest themselves. That's true. I had one of those once. it won't harm them to be on ice. The only complication is going to be the logistics. Oh, Suzanne says they're going to do chromatography at room temp. Try to freeze it between the column and the desalting concentration step. Interesting. Well, the idea that we've got 6 plasmids and 6 groups, so RIT this fall may be running, ideal cases, the students will get all the way to testing for in vitro activity, but if we even get them as far as just expressing the proteins, purifying them, concentrating them, we'll know what works and what doesn't work at that point. That would be really good for the project.
Yeah, that's huge.
Oh, interesting. So Suzanne indicates they're going to do 2 expressions and save one of them as a backup. Suzanne, will you have them freeze it at -20 or -80, the backup expression? What's your plan there? Okay, right, you're going to store the cells at -80. I understand that, but you said you're going to have 2 expressions. So will you store the cells that have expressed the protein at -80 also? Or half, one of the expressions at -80? Yes. So the answer is yes. So So half of the cells are actually going to fracture the cells, take the protein out, and purify it. The other half they're just going to freeze as intact cells with the protein expressed in them. Okay. Bob has a question about initial buffer selection and pH. Jeff had information from the 2 proteins that came out of the labs in Buffalo. Suzanne, do you know if Jeff got the information? I know he was asking for information on the other 4 plasmids, or on the other 4 proteins. Do you know if he got it?
What was that? He did send us protocols.
Okay. So we don't know if Jeff got those documents yet. If he doesn't, we need to redouble our efforts and track them down. Because those documents are from the people who actually expressed the proteins and crystallized them. And so they have the data about the buffers they used and so forth, Bob. So we should have that all for this fall at RIT. Now for 3DS8, at this point I would say, why don't you go ahead to the PDB.
$10 million, $50 million.
Right. So that's unpublished. I'm looking at the 3DS8 entry from the PDB. I'm looking under biology, or under methods, and the method they described is for the crystallization itself, and for the diffraction, refinement data, and the software. They don't have any information on the protein purification on that tab.
Suzanne wrote over there in the sidebar about using tris, sodium chloride, imidazole, pH 7.5, and that's what's on the document that Jeff sent us about the first 2 proteins. So
Okay.
I would always start with pH 7 or 7.5.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I like to use heaps though because the pKa of tris changes with temperature. It's more expensive though.
Well, it is, and when I look at I'm actually looking at the raw PDB file. Sometimes they actually include protein purification information in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not seeing anything.
Which protein were you looking at again? I missed that.
Right, 3DS8.
3DS8.
D as in dog.
Yeah.
Right, they give the crystallization conditions. Right, and this was from the Midwest Center on Structural Genomics.
I'll try to contact the authors and see if they can.
Yeah. Why don't you do that? You might also go to the DNASU website and see if they have some other information hiding in there. They might have it.
Okay.
You know, that's a protein we've actually done a little work with here at RIT, and I'm not. We probably have some information. So you might also contact Caitlin in that email I just sent out to everybody, and ask her if she can check Greg's notebooks. Greg is the guy that got us started on all this in vitro work. Check Greg's notebook for conditions for 3DS8 because I think he has some. Okay, Bob, I'm trying that link you sent me to YouTube.
The ultraviolet spectrometer, what we had.
All right, and I have it, and I'll download it.
So that pathway, that works?
Yep, that link worked.
Okay, all right.
Now I need to...
All right, I'll work on getting a video then on the enzyme kinetics, doing a progress curve, so, and get that to you.
Okay.
All right.
Good. I don't know why it's not showing me how to download it here. Usually there's a download link.
I don't see any information.
You might need a permission or something on YouTube.
Just a minute.
Am I the only one that sent out some videos? Or is that?
You're the only one so far, yeah. Besides me, I think.
Okay. Maybe I should embed it in a Camtasia presentation or something. Would that be better?
Well, if you save it to Camtasia and actually capture it as an MP4 yourself, you can just upload it to that videos folder. So I'm going to bring up Camtasia here. Once it's up, I'm going to share it. I don't want to do that crazy disappearing sinkhole of stuff here. Share my screen again. Okay, so I'm in Camtasia now, and if I open a project, all right, so this is the inserting figures in a Google Doc that I created. So this is the quick one. And then when you go to share, one of the options is to post it to YouTube. Another option is to, I think if you export, it will save it as an MP4, right? It does, yeah. So if you go ahead and do that as an export, then you can just take that, and if Google Docs won't let you upload it because it's too big, and it might do that, I'm not, you know, once again, I know when I put stuff on YouTube, my own stuff on YouTube, I can download it and use it. So I'm not sure when I look at the page you sent me, or the link you sent me, I have this page, and I've got all the different adjustments on here. I'm not sure why I don't see the download option, because if I go to my page here, I have a bunch of options on the page. Where's my download option?
All right. Well, maybe I should try the MP4 route.
Yeah.
Okay.
As you can tell, every time I do this, I have to learn the whole process over again. Oh, if I go to Video Manager, then I can go under here, and one of my options is download MP4. So I think maybe I can only do that on my site. If I go to your site, I don't get the Video Manager option. Let me take a look at that protein characterization site. I honestly don't remember the username and password I put on it. But what I'll do is I'll get a username and password that's to share with people so that everybody can just upload your stuff to this site, or just take it directly. If you create something in Camtasia, you can put it directly to YouTube. And once again, I'll bring that same project up I just had up. And under Share, one of the options is just YouTube. And then you can share it to wherever. And this is where I'm in the protein characterization page, so I just share it there. Okay. Okay, I see a note from Suzanne saying that Caitlin is responding to emails and doodle polls, so that's good. The last thing I wanted to talk about was, we talked before about the question of how often do we need to meet. I would like to meet next week just to make sure we have all the protocols in shape that we can use them here at RIT this fall. It sounds like Bob's going to be using some at ORU also, maybe with just a smaller group of students. And if we look at next week, classes start at RIT next week. How does
We've already started. I would like to hear progress reports from you guys who are trying it, like every 2 weeks. But I don't want to give you tasks you don't have time for.
right? Okay.
So if you said once a month, I would be happy.
Well, what does next Thursday at 11 a.m. or noon look like for people?
I'm teaching then.
Well, I'll send out a doodle poll for next week and see how many of us can get together.
Yep.
And we'll identify a time where we can get together and talk about stuff. And at that point, I'll talk with the other folks, with Jeff and Suzanne here and Caitlin here at RIT, and find out what they think is a reasonable time frame for reporting out. And we'll also give you information on the things that we need, the kind of support we'll need from you folks in terms of other documents or videos we'd like some help with. Okay?
Yep.
So, Paul, you're running you have a class of like 12 or so?
That's correct.
Okay. I have a TA and then a senior paper student, so I have just 2 of us will be working on it.
Okay.
Anybody else actually going to be doing lab work, or?
I don't think in the fall. I think everybody else is going in the spring.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay, folks. Well, thanks for joining. Any other comments from other folks?
Paul, I got my Google Drive figured out. This is Anya. I can see the files. There's 3 files in the finished drafts. Right?
That's right.
That's what.
Yep.
Okay. And if I can find a good student who's somewhat independent, I might try to just run through some of the experiments with a independent study student. We weren't planning on implementing broadly this year. We're just going to do computer work with Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm teaching in the winter our intro biochemistry class, and I might try at least some parts of it. I want to figure out what I can do with my very, very beginner biochem students.
Right. Okay. That's
So hearing from you how it goes for you guys is going to be very valuable for me to plan for my winter quarter, if I can do at least some experiments with my other class.
They must have an advanced biochemistry class.
okay. Well, we will do our best to bring back some encouraging reports with each monthly report, and let you know what's working, what's not working, and keep it going. So if you had, if we had a couple of folks, if Anya, if you were at Cal Poly, and Bob at ORU were doing a few things this fall to see what's happening, I think the more people that are trying this on different campuses, the better chance we have of success. So.
Yeah.
So, Anya, what would be the best way to keep in touch? Email?
I don't know, like, I wonder if even for like assessment, if you guys were able to keep a short, brief journal of like, maybe weekly or bi-weekly, I don't know what's less burdensome, but what are the goals, what are the problems you ran into, and if you sort out like how to solve those challenges. I think having some kind of document where you document the progression and what you run into problem-wise, and it could be even like the technical versus like mental problems your students experience, right? Or not mental, what is the right word for it?
Psychological.
Not so much, but like some students will say, well, I hate that I don't know the answer, and why, like, what are the challenges students get that you're dealing, I guess, pedagogical and then scientific challenges. I would probably even separate those, because I think if I have to do this, like if I do this in the winter, at least part of this experiment, I would have to implement on a scale of 54 students and 3 lab sections. I wouldn't have the 12. And the scaling thing really scares me. Like the things I can do with 12 is very different than, how you can deal with a larger scale student group. And so hearing what you encounter on a smaller scale of 12 is going to help anticipate and sort of figure out how to deal with it on a larger scale. Larger meaning more students, but probably less ambitious research goals.
Well, I had a meeting with Trevor and Stefan Irby, Trevor Anderson and Stefan Irby, right before I went on vacation, where we talked about getting feedback and input and assessing faculty and TA experience in this process. And I haven't looked at that document yet. I'm hoping to look at it later this week. And when I do that, I'm also going to create a very simple online form to have people fill out each week what they got.
Yeah. But I think thinking of like research objectives and or problems, issues, and pedagogical, somewhat like having a separate category so we can keep track of both is going to help.
Okay.
So it's not mental problems, right? It's like pedagogical challenges.
Got it. Right. Okay. I'll make a note of that and incorporate that in the survey.
Mm-hmm. Are people disconnecting yet, or are we still talking?
Think so.
Hi, this is Rebecca. Can you hear me?
Yes, Rebecca.
Hi. Julia and I have identified a student who is going to hopefully be doing some work this fall to get ready for the spring.
Okay, great.
So I'm sure we're going to have a million questions. So even though we're not touching bases in this format as regularly, can we still be emailing and being in constant contact?
Absolutely. And in fact, the record of that email is going to be one of the things we report back to NSF when we write our reports. So we'll be keeping logs of all this stuff.
I'm happy to talk to any student about computers anytime.
Great. Thanks, Herbert.
All my students have left, so I can speak for a minute. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So if people read the sidebar, I actually did a lot more talking today than I normally do because we were talking about stuff that I'm responsible for. And I had said that once the semester gets started, we might all be so busy it might be a lot harder to find a common time, but email for me would be really easy to do. And I had said for Anya, if you have specific things that you'd like us to report on, just send an email and just write those things down.
Okay, thank you. Rebecca, are you the group that's doing like 2 separate courses or 2 separate instructors for the computer part and the wet lab?
Yes, Julia's doing the wet stuff, and my class is doing the computer stuff. So we've identified one student who we're calling him our super TA, and he's going to be willing to be the TA for both of us.
Which one? Are you doing it at the same time in the spring, like 2 separate classes, or are you sequencing it like one first and then the other?
It's going to be simultaneous, but she and I have worked out a calendar where there's going to be some things that are overlapping during the week, and sometimes where her class might have started something when my class hasn't done something yet. So we're basically taking 2 classes and trying to mesh them together a little bit to get the whole thing accomplished.
Great. I think Ashley and I are trying to do something similar, but probably not in the same quarter, more like sequential. And yes, maybe we should be talking more closely about kind of developing this because we're separating it. Yeah, sounds good.
Sure, of course.
Okay, well, I think we're good for today. I'm going to stop the broadcast, and I will put it on YouTube as quickly as Google Docs will let me. And I'll send a doodle poll out later today. Bye now.
Sounds good.